So I'm here with Themis and Raphael from the mighty team of CGG. How are you guys?
Trying to be fine.
Trying to be fine, yeah.
Okay, how worked out the first day for you and your team?
Okay, basically, the entire team started really low. Like almost everyone got losses very fast. Like by round 3, I think everyone had at least one loss.
Yeah.
And we had Alex dropped first, then I dropped, then Raphael dropped, and James, but we stayed there. That was the drops. Like the rest of the guys continued forward. Like at least, unfortunately, Robin lost the last round, and in day 2.
Joshua also lost. Schmidt also lost the last round.
Who was out. Like
Yeah, okay, they didn't want. They're still in.
And day 2, both Joshua's made it.
Lorenzo made it.
Leo, Lorenzo.
So yeah,
Eugen, he's trying. Eugen is
Eugen is X2-1, so it's like
he's going for the tiebreakers.
4 people have a decent chance of topping. So
hopefully
still hoping that they make it.
Okay, Raphael, you were going to play the Inferno deck.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Joshua and I were thinking about like decks we could play outside of the meta, like because we really didn't like ABC for a couple of reasons, and a lot of reasons, and we ended up with Infernoid because it has a really good matchup against ABC. And we were like pretty surprised with regional results in the US, but also in Europe. So many ABC in the top cut. So we were like, we need to find something against ABC. Now Inferno, every monster can banish monsters from the graveyard. So when they're setting up for the Buster, the general idea is you banish one of the letters, and then they cannot make their Buster anymore. So that's the general idea. Also, the deck has a really strong going second matchup. Joshua plays with Speed Boys, so you have the Speed Boys to bait out the back row, then the little guys bait out the back row, and then you summon the bigger guys like Systemas, for instance. And if Systemas resolves, you can banish one of the letters from the field, and with this other effect, you banish one from the grave. So generally, the deck has a really good going second matchup against ABC, and I think this is the only deck that has that.
This was also a process of your team membershiping. You were testing out the ABC deck, and you watched over the regionals, and the main thing you say, ABC is too strong in the meta for the muff of decks that we will face off, so we need an Infernoid. We got a better matchup against this. Yeah,
well, we saw so many ABCs, so we expected like 30% of the event to be ABC. It was between 25 and 30%, so that was a good call. Yeah, for me it didn't work out, but Joshua is still X1 with Inferno, so yeah.
Themis, you were laughing at the ABC deck. What are the main reasons this deck is bad in your opinion?
Main reasons. Everything regarding this deck is bad, even its name. Like seriously, you can make so many jokes about ABC and continue it with so many ways that make the joke. But like seriously, the deck is
like AB cancer.
Yeah.
I was thinking more something more related to the toilet.
I think
AB going to the toilet.
The main problem is it struggles going second, especially in the mirror match. If you lose the die roll, you're so far behind, more than with a different deck. That's the first problem. Second problem is, well, it's not really a problem, but the deck is extremely easy to play. It's like this. It's Domain Monarch 2.0. It's really cheap, really easy, and that's why a lot of people picked it up.
It's a textbook deck. Mainly the reason is that the deck is just retarded. Like seriously, it's like a deck that it just rolling. It needs to roll a dice to go first, and then it also rolls a dice for its luck about how it's gonna open. Like if you open a hanger, most of the times you can go for Buster, but if you don't have Gadget or Thrasher, you also cannot go for Buster. And you also have this disadvantage. You have the disadvantage to go in second, and then you have that you need to. If you go second, you need to also open Twisters again with all the other cards, and then it's which cards you're gonna have to set with Tsukuyomi, which cards you're gonna draw. Like it's like totally you can even like you can start with nothing, like set a monster, set one card, or you can even start with amazing opener
Buster
with
set to hanger, yeah.
something like that. But
It doesn't even have that much chance to open Buster. It's not that consistent. It's like 52.3% you open Buster, but it's really low.
how do you calculate it?
It's without desires, but it's still really low. But it's still really popular, so you're gonna see like I think the top 32 at least 20 ABC, and not because the deck is good. It's just it's overrepresented.
The most difficult thing with ABC is that the counters, how to counter the deck, because like let's say you play Gkyzis, you don't know if your opponent is going to tag out the standby phase or not.
It's really hard to counter because it really depends on the player what he's gonna do.
So if he does this, your Gkyzis are simply useless. And then you go to the side deck. Like if you don't play ABC and you play another deck, they still keep fragrance against you. So system down is dead, and then you have the cherries. Like if you draw cherries, like it's game immediately. But it's so weird. Like I play this deck and I'm like, why did I play this deck?
And also ABC forced the player to play the Gkyzis in the main. I heard.
Yeah.
It was always a side deck option, and now.
Yeah, most of the time Gkyzis were placed in the side deck, and now, because like I said, if you go second against ABC, you have a really hard time, and the Gkyzis could be a answer to that, but like Themis said, you don't know what your opponent is gonna do. Like if he leaves the Buster, then you can Kaiju it, but if you don't have the Kaiju, they can banish something from your field, and you have a much harder time. If they tag out, you cannot Kaiju them, obviously, and you have 3 monsters plus the one new equipped from Hangar, so that's an equally hard time because they have the background and you will never OTK them through, and next turn they can make 2 Busters. So that's the problem with the deck. You cannot really counter it by playing. It's like, yeah, I'm playing this in my main deck, so if I draw this, I have a good matchup and I go second against this deck. It doesn't work like that because there are 2 scenarios when playing against ABC going second: tag out or not tag out. And that's why there's not like a really general one card you can play to fix that.
Generally, like the whole deck doesn't work. It doesn't work the same way that a deck is supposed to work. Like, really, it's like if you see how the deck works compared to all the other decks in the format, or even the past format, or the format before, like the last 2 years format, that this deck is not something close. That it's like more something close to Bujin, but Bujin worked better than this thing. It seems like it has the win condition, Basta Dragon, but there's so many problems with it. Like it has made players to main for this event, like the first European YCS with ABC being legal a week after the deck was released. It has made players maining cherries. You see that this creates way too many problems in the format. Like that's when you understand that a deck should have never be allowed in a format. Like, maybe it was also brought earlier in the TCG than it should have. Like in the OCG, the deck arrived after DDD were at full power, and now DDD is not at full power. So there is not like the format that we have in OCG. That the deck was created to be that format in OCG first. So it's like weird how it works in our format. Maybe it wasn't supposed to exist in this format. Like.
Okay, so we got it on this weekend, the sneak of the new edition. Do you think that with the additional cards there will be much change in the meta?
Mostly bad changes.
Mostly bad changes.
How the cards called the trap?
The dimensional barrier is going to be like. It's going to be even more coin flip. It's going to be even more coin flip.
That card should have never been printed. Like this card is simply really bad. It's a floodgate for one turn that you can do nothing about.
Yeah.
You see the one who goes first, a huge advantage, and then it just creates many scenarios that the card you can do nothing against it. Nothing. It's like a really bad card for the game.
So you can't counter this?
No, it's impossible because it isn't a floodgate. It's a normal trap card. So you cannot use Twin Twister, MST or whatever on it. It's like it's one turn, you cannot do anything.
But it floods you for one turn.
Yeah, it's impossible to make. For those who don't know what it says call XYZ, synchro or fusion, I believe. You cannot perform any of those summons, and if there are any monsters of those type on the field, like the one you chooses, then the effects of those monsters are negated. So I play against BA, he summons 2 BAs, and I flip this and say XYZ, you cannot make done enough, you can do nothing. And against ABC it's the same, like they go for Tsukuyomi to make their plays, call XYZ, nothing. And if you go second and you draw, it's still really, really powerful because you negate all of those effects. So you can go set it, he in his turn he goes Buster effect and I call fusion and it's negated. Like the card is really, but that's fair. But the first effect is nuts.
Is there any good side of the new edition?
Well, I haven't really looked into the new Metaphors, but I think that could work. The Tree Toads coming out, that's interesting card.
Yeah, I like Tree Toad as a card generally.
Yeah, I like it as a card, but I don't like the Paleozoic decks who play it.
That thing is.
What do you think, main, about the Metaphors?
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't have a really good look at them right now, but I know they get like a not vanilla monster, which is really good. It's like a Scam. And the new fusion spell is a quick spell. It's like El Shadow Fusion.
Really?
Yeah, it's a quick spell.
Maybe I know the next deck I will play.
But still, it's a pendulum deck, and right now, that's why I don't play any pendulum decks right now. I feel with ABC, because a lot of players who main enter spell, even though they should not, because it's really not worth to main that.
Exactly, they should not main.
But there's still a lot of players who do that, and that's why I felt like if I lose a roll against such ABC players, it's like suicide to take a pendulum deck to an event like this. So if that doesn't change, I will not play a pendulum deck for like a longer time.
On the other hand, for Metaphors, I know that in the OCG they're very dominant, like not the most dominant deck, but in the OCG currently the most dominant deck is ABC, but Metaphors are very, very heavily representative, and they have the full power, like in the next set as we're gonna have. So like I know the deck is gonna affect the format, but with the trap we mentioned earlier, there are problems again.
Yeah,
like Metaphors right now has the huge problem that it can open good, can do combos, but afterwards it doesn't have any strength. Like that's why they play Jogan, because they want to end the game with Jogan, because they cannot push the opponent, they cannot do damage. But with the new editions they can do this.
We see in this tournament the second most played deck was the Blue Eyes. When do you think the era of the Blue Eyes is over? We don't see them much in the tops, but in every tournament we look into, there are a mob of people who play in this, and every professional player you ask why they play Blue Eyes, there's not much reason for this. They got Soul Charge. And then?
Generally, many people play Blue Eyes because they simply like it, and I understand why they like it. It's big dragons. I understand why they like it. Dragon rulers were also big dragons, but mainly is that the deck is not that bad. But the problem is that people do not try to figure out ways to make the deck work better. Like Billy Break released a video some days ago from the House of Champions, and that was kind of advertising. I just thought of it. He was explaining his different deck than the others, and he was saying the same thing, that he simply likes the deck and he wants to make it work, to figure out why it doesn't work and to make it better. And people do not try to do this. They're like, oh, let's play 1 or 2 Phoenix Wing, or let's play like, they're not trying to figure out engine cards. They're just adding some defenses or the ratios of shrines with Silver Scribe. But that is not the problem. You need to find better cards to make use of, like how to make your dead Blue Eyes in your hand more useful, and all this stuff. The problem is that the deck is very hugely representative, but the main problem is that because not the big players usually don't want to play this deck because of the problems it has, so the deck is advancing very slowly compared to all the other decks how they advance. But if let's say we were in a world that dueling network still existed, that would not be true. Like everything would be really different. Like ABC would not be maining fragrance for sure. Like the reason ABC is maining fragrance right now is because the deck was just released and people just copied the list from the OCG and they're maining fragrance there. But if they had played the deck in dueling network for the past 2 weeks or so, and they had played like way too many matches because that's what you do with dueling network, they would have figured out that fragrance is not supposed to be in the deck.
So the players didn't really expand their horizons about the edge of Blue Eyes, and there are maybe there is a way, but nobody figured it out.
Yeah, but it's the same with every deck right now. It's like there's no real way to extensively test this outside of like face-to-face contact. Like Death Pro or Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is not a good platform. I use it myself because there's nothing else, but it's not a good platform to test.
It generally is like. Okay.
What's the best form to test?
Well, it was dueling network, hands down.
Actually,
so
no,
right now,
the legitimate best way to test, if you can manage it, is to create a group of your own guys, which are on your same level as you, or even better than you. And you have the same goal. Like, let's say you want to travel to a YCS, and that group with you is like they want to win the YCS. And they are on a very high skill level, and if you start testing like this face to face, you have the greatest results you can ever have. Like, but this is really difficult to manage it, like way too difficult. But on the other hand, other than this, like of course, dueling network was doing the job. Like you could test with your friends from other countries, from other cities, or simply like not go to their houses and play online and still do the testing you want to do. Like not play like you want to win, play like you want to try cards and fix your hands to
take back,
all these things that you cannot
Let's
do.
see what happens right if I do this and this, and it's much easier to have contact on dueling network and build decks and play online. It's Death Pro and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro are so much like different, and the skill level like with online play is also a lot lower than on dueling network. Like rating on Death Pro doesn't really mean much. Rating on dueling network was for some people a big deal. If you play at like 1700, 1800, it was like. If you played online rated, it was like a duel at the YCS. So that's a much better way to practice for YCS than something like Death Pro, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro.
Okay. So in main, we should hope that Konami will figure a way out, maybe do own platform for this, because the games that they provided in the last time, they were fun, but for the professional gaming, they're not really good. What do you think will win the YCS Liverpool? Which deck?
Minerva.
Minerva.
Yeah, because Minerva is the best deck in this format. Literally the best deck.
I think
hands
ABC
down.
because it's overrepresented.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like maybe ABC. Because
I think there are if there are 2 Minerva and 20 ABCs, Minerva's still the best deck, but ABC will probably take it.
Actually, the thing is that we are on Sunday, and we know this. When we reach Sunday, one of the people who are playing is going to be the champion. So that person, like, if he's playing ABC and he's really lucky, nothing can stop him. Like Minerva, the deck is amazing. It's like so fun to play, so powerful. It has the potential to be the best deck, but it's not like the best deck all the time. That's the problem with Minerva. But it has easily the potential to be the best deck when you're playing. Like if I had access to Minerva, I would have played Minerva 1000% for this event. I was trying at the last moment to get to Minerva, but I couldn't.
Okay, then on this part, I wanted to question something about your team in general. What are your plans for the future? Looking forward to the YCS Bochum. Are there any tournaments of your team in Germany that we should hang out for experience of the ABC decks and such, or to find our way to the new edition?
So basically, after today, we for the next 1 week or 2 weeks, there are no generally events, but at mid
LDS
of
finals.
mid of November there's the LDS finals, and I think like they're almost in every country at the same weekend. That is the next step, but for us, for the team, like not that many players have qualified. Like, fortunately, the Dutch guys have qualified for their own. Like for I didn't qualify for any LDS stage 2, but and other Joshua did. But we have Eugen, Vale, Lorenzo Roma. Like Vale and Lorenzo didn't make it for this event, but they are gonna be at stage 2, and one of them is gonna win that event because they weren't here. They're hungry. But and afterwards we have the set release of the a mini set with like Destiny Heroes.
Thing.
But we have the Dark Lords in there, which I'm looking forward to because I simply like Dark Lords. And then we have YCS Bochum.
And after that, we have CCG Grand Final Amsterdam.
After that, we have our most important tournament until now, the Grand Finals in Amsterdam, like in their home country.
Yes, Amsterdam. Everyone should come.
Already heard about it.
Very easy to access from Germany, France, UK. Like the event is gonna be like huge from us. Like we have,
It's gonna be sick.
We have like
really good.
We have way bigger prizes than last times, and it's the first of the events we want to continue progressing. Like if you see how the prize structure has started, and it was developed at the Grand Open in Cologne, and now it goes higher again at the Grand Finals in Amsterdam, and that's what we want to do. We want to go higher and higher. Like, but we can only do this, as I said in my previous video, with the help of the community. Like we see their help, but for the last two MTS, we had less people than we expected. Maybe it was wrong timing. But we want to see how this goes. We cannot say that because of two events and because of these random factors, like we will have less people in every event. But we expect to have more because we are growing more. We see that people want to go to them, but something happened like both times. And most importantly, actually, for this event is that we are also not only hosting Yu-Gi-Oh, we are also hosting Pokemon and Hearthstone. And that is I can say like this is really the first small step entering into reaching the goal for the esports if we are able to make the game an esport. Because like we have Hearthstone in the same, and Hearthstone's like, if not the biggest esport game, it's like one of the biggest esports game, and you can use that to progress with Yu-Gi-Oh as well. And Pokemon has really good price structure supporting them, so like we are using them to help us promote Yu-Gi-Oh. And we are also have Konami advising us with some stuff. Like we have some people that we can talk, and they help us like make sure that things are going smoothly, like there is nothing between us and Konami that can create any problem, like how ARG had and has. And because we also have like Konami support, we can progress from time to time. And yeah, like Amsterdam is gonna be like really huge, like huge as a tournament, like being exciting and very huge for us.
What do you wish you as a number of the conference in Amsterdam?
Anything from 150 and more players is fine. But from 200 to 250 would be really, we would be happy with this number. Like, be like, okay, we're going. But if let's say we reach more than 250.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, if we go higher than the little number.
Because the best way to support your team as a community is to get your asses up, go to Amsterdam, take a place at the tournament, win the tournament.
Like
easy. Like Joshua did. Okay.
Basically, like to point this out, we're not going to the tournaments to support the tournament. we are playing because we go there because we simply want to play at these tournaments. Like we are hunting the tournaments. I missed Bologna, and it was my first MTS I missed for a year now. But there are others like who everyone wants, like they want to go to them really. Like Joshua Oysters for Bologna, he missed his flight, but he wanted so much to go there. He flew the next day, as I did here for Liverpool, and he managed to win the event because he simply wanted to play at the event.
Okay, a last question for today. If you could wish you something for yourself as a player in the future tournaments, for your team and for your community, what would it be?
For the community, for starters, I would wish to have like the community to be able to have a stronger voice. It's like the community is expressing themselves, but the problem is that not that Konami is very interested to hear the people's opinion, but they have a very difficult way of
fixing things.
No, of being able to take into account the people's opinions, because they need a huge sample to take into account, and there are no places they can get these samples. So that's the problem that exists right now. Like Konami's trying, but they need more time. They're trying, but generally the problem that always happens is that everything goes slowly ahead. Like they're not progressing fast; they're progressing slow, and this takes a toll through time. But they're trying to, and I simply want for the community to to be able to be stronger community, to be like more, not be like united, because many people always go out, but many people join in, and it's like a huge recycle of the community. But the people to get what they actually want to. For the team, simply continuing being dominating. Go to events in America. That's one of our future plans, to promote the players to go into America. And for me, simply continue topping and win my first YCS finally.
Well, same question to you.
Yeah, well, I agree with for the team itself. We want to become a bigger name across multiple card games and games, like Themis said. Like we're in the Pokemon, in Hearthstone. So to make CCG like more like just a team, but to present it as a brand. For me as a player, I really want to progress more. That's why I'm in this team, like with so many older and better players. And like at an event like this, when I don't top, it really feels like I'm standing still, you know. So there's no progress, but it also gives like more motivation to do better against at the next event. So I'm really pumped to. I really got a lot of motivation for my LLS final and for Bochum. So yeah, like I said, I need to progress more and more. So that's for me as a player personally.
Okay, and really the last question for today, before we shut down, before I ask you this, I want to give a shout out also to the CGG Facebook and YouTube, but also, are you on Twitch or Twitter? On Twitter you are?
Yeah,
you got
yes. But we're trying to be active, but we're under a regroup phase again. And we are trying to continue working with this, but we are also cooperating with Glasgow Yu-Gi-Oh! With Nadir. He's also helping us. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to give you a shout out. You find everything in the description below. If you're interested in the CGG in the tournament of Amsterdam, we also will hang out something on our Facebook page if you're interested into this. And the last question of today, do you know the famous Hanzo Challenge?
The what?